Why didn't Tom tell Evan that his mother died of a brain aneurysm at 2 instead of telling him that she died in childbirth?
Did the boogeyman go after Patricia because she evaded him last time, or because she's possibly a descendant of Richard Warren?
Has someone ever gotten on your nerves so much that you just straight up tased them?
Yes, we'll answer all those questions and more on this episode of
Patricia Perfection,
Double PHQ's Widow's Bay podcast.
What town doesn't have a checkered past?
Welcome to Patricia Perfection. My name's Bubba, and with me, as always, is someone who ruined the book club. It's Catfish.
Oh, Bubba, it is a pleasure to podcast a guy who pairs a nice cab sauv with a sausage without a bun and a turkey patty. Bubba, pleasure to be with you today.
Guys, we're going to be breaking down, going over, celebrating this great 8th episode of Widow's Bay entitled Your Baggage.
AKA Halloween.
On this podcast, we'll tase a mean girl. We'll read deranged letters from our mom. Plus, we'll see exactly how much $20 worth of gas on 3 gets in Trump's economy.
Oh, man. Is it even enough to light them on fire?
Catfish, this 8th episode, I've kind of spoiled. I loved it. But let the listeners know, what is your rating out of 10 for this 8th episode, Your Baggage?
Bubba, I gave this episode 10 out of 10. What we all know as sextuple P's.
Sextuple P's?
That's right. That stands for prevaricating, persistent, plucky, powerful, perfect Patricia. The calm at the beginning of the episode is great. It's really nice. They play some nice music. Everyone's like, it's so great. Patricia's got her horrible meal. Evan was even more of a jerk. Time to slap the sarcasm out of his mouth.
Whoa.
And then we had the amazing Halloween / It Follows segment with an added bonus of Chris getting tased. The boogeyman, I was so worried was in the window. Oh my God, he's going to kill all those women. No, he wants Patricia, so he hurls himself out of the window. He stands up. Patricia lights the boogeyman on fire, and then, shall we say, her attentiveness to the boogeyman's corpse through its various trips, and then the reveal of the sheriff's wife being pregnant.
Oh, no.
Whoa. And then Patricia just, she's having a straight serious talk with the sheriff. You got to get out of here now. Bubba, this episode was beautiful from beginning to end. That's how I feel, Bubba.
Catfish,
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Sextuple P's, Bubba. What about you? What did you give it out of 10?
Well, Catfish, you know, the listeners know if you've been following our Widow's Bay podcast.
They do.
I am the biggest Patricia fan ever. I have to give this a higher rating than you. So I decided to go 10 out of 10 double B's. Double B's? Yeah, because Evan's going to be banned from baseball. He's not going to the Red Sox. It's canceled. Catfish, we talk about it. I am a scaredy cat. Horror scares me. All of the complete beautifully executed tropes of Patricia's house. The cinematography. We're always going to be showing more than one room. We're always going to be so far away from her, seeing reflections in mirrors, seeing open doors that we're just wondering, where is this evil going to come from?
True.
Goes out. First, she leaves her bedroom because the car alarm's going on. When she leaves her bedroom, the lights are on. When she returns, guess what? The lights are off. When she goes to the Paddy Wagon bookmobile, she goes outside, she closes the front door.
Yes.
Off the car alarm, she returns, the door is open. Chef's kiss, perfection, incredible. Unlike you, I actually didn't mind Evan. Obviously, any minute away from my, the woman I want to marry, perfect Patricia, is terrible. But 10 out of 10. This show is great. We love it. We want to celebrate it. We're going to talk all these crazy theories. This Catfish, you were the one. Tip your cap. You were the one who reached out to me and said we had to podcast about it because it's so great. Did you know, and you said this after the first 2 episodes, did you know after the first 2 episodes it would reach these highs? Incredible.
I mean, Bubba, I just had the confidence that from the beginning, they had the tone right. They had the mix of horror and comedy. It just seemed like they were on sure footing from the beginning. This is fabulous. They are, I will say this, they're living up to the promise of the first 2 episodes, for sure.
100%. Listeners, we love to say, who cares what we think? We care what we think, and we hope you find it entertaining, but you are the third member of this podcast. We want you to go down in the comments if you're on YouTube. We need you to do a bunch of things. We're just 2 guys trying to make podcasts. We need you to do those things. Subscribe, like, hype, and leave a comment. Those 3 things. So please do them. If you're listening,
you counted right.
If you're listening to this on audio podcast, we need you to do 3 things.
Another 3 things?
Subscribe to that audio podcast and leave a written review. Okay, do those 3 things.
What about hyping the audio podcast?
Heck yeah.
Okay, all right. There's 3.
So let me say, listeners, before we dive into this episode 8, Your Baggage, I do have to, Catfish, go over some double H.
Double H?
Holiday headaches.
What holidays you talking about?
We're talking about the holiday I'm about to go on.
Oh.
Our podcasts here on the Patricia Perfection podcast have been inconsistent in their release, partially because 3 weeks ago, I was in Costa Rica on holiday. Guess what?
Wait, you're going on another vacation? This is horrible.
Next week, when episode 9 drops, I'm going to be in Belgium. And then, listeners, just so you know, the day after I leave Belgium, guess what happens? Belgium's first match in the World Cup happens. Then I'm going to England, and guess what happens as I'm flying away from England? Their first match in the World Cup happens. So I am obviously planning this trip terribly. But let me say that we are going to do our darndest to get episode 9 and episode 10 out as quickly as we can. But to let everybody know and to help join us in this journey to celebrate this great show, we really do need you to subscribe and give us your thoughts, because that's what this podcast lives on. Just like my buddy, the Boogeyman, lives on revenge and justice.
You know what, Bub, I'm going to say this too. We get a lot of great feedback off of the YouTube, which is fabulous. Oh, yeah. But as soon as you see the episode, if you want to give some feedback on that episode, you can hit us up on Twitter at double PHQ.
Blue Sky,
you can
Instagram,
Blue Sky, whatever.
Threads,
you can
Facebook.
You can leave info there right there, and then the feedback we can give can be piping hot off the griddle. So we love the feedback and interacting with people on YouTube, but you can slice it to us a little faster if you like.
Heck yeah. And we've got some listeners who reached out on Blue Sky and maybe Threads, I forget, who gave us their thoughts on this 8th episode. Catfish, let's dive in. And we normally begin by talking about the best scare, the best frightening, the most tensest scene. But Catfish, we asked a question on our very first Widow's Bays podcast. We asked it. We came up with some ideas. After 8 episodes, I'm still not sure we have the answer. The question was what Wick said. Wick came and he was telling everybody with the fog, he said, the spirits have awakened. 8 episodes in, do we know why at this moment the spirits have awakened? What do you think?
Well, I had supposed at that time that there were a lot of new visitors to the island, and the spirits were kind of feeding off of that psychic energy and awoken by all kinds of new minds to prey on. And I still don't have anything better than that, Bubba. Do you have anything better than that?
I don't, but because we think so much is tied into these original deals with the devil, deals with the island spirits that Richard Warren made, I'm beginning to wonder if perhaps Richard Warren and some other descendants got things wrong. Richard Warren thought, I have to get off the island for the curse to end. What if he was trapped there and had to stay there to keep the curse entombed? And then something happened that maybe we haven't seen, that maybe the Reverend Bryce saw. is what released, is caused it to go, these spirits to awaken. I don't know, listeners.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, listeners, we need this is where we need your crazy, not crazy theories. Just tell us why you think. Again, did we miss something? Is the answer already there and Bubba and I can't see it? Even if you don't think you know the answer, just give us your crazy answers. We love it.
We love it. Okay, so let's get to Catfish. I already talked about Patricia turning off those lights. And spoiler alert, that, it was so quiet, too. That was the scariest scene in this great episode for me. What do you have as some of the scares, and what did you consider the best scene, the best scare in episode 8?
Well, Bubba, this is what I want to tell you. I wanted to text you at one point, but I didn't want to play it up too much. I was going to text you your favorite word when it comes to a show. Do you know what you love most in a show?
Patricia? No, wait. What? You mean tension?
Just any kind of show. No, you love fireworks, and I was going to text you.
That was my next guess.
The fireworks are going off. Bubba, it starts with Wick finding the boogeyman doors open, and Wick is like...
Well, the boogeyman's mask was missing, too. Oh, man.
Well, yeah. But that's one thing when you're like, okay, somebody else could have taken it. But that was what I call the triple W moment.
Triple W?
Yeah, the Wick whoa.
Whoa.
Patricia, I had her going out of the house, coming back, the door is open. The boogeyman first coming out of the house, Bubba, that is a shriek moment. No matter how many movies you've seen, that is an audible exclamation moment. And then we've got, I'm just going to lump all of the Patricia kind of being stalked into one thing, which was great. The boogeyman, as I said, I thought he was going to go after the rest of the world. No. And I thought, did he get thrown out of the window? No, he jumped out of the window to get Patricia. Let's get this fast. Bubba, I have got to go. Look, I love Halloween. I loved It Follows. This whole chase scene was a combination of the best of those two things. I mean, the other thing that goes back to Halloween is him being lit on fire.
Yep.
Bubba, I've got to go with the boogeyman coming out of the house because me and Mrs. Catfish jumped out of our seats when that happened.
Oh, man, that was so good. Oh, my goodness. What I kept thinking, and I do this a lot of times, I'm in a scary movie. So she is running away. The one thing I keep thinking is, keep him in your sights. He's so slow. You don't want to run so far you can't see him, and then suddenly the horror movie trope, he's standing behind you. I'm like, keep him, never run so far away that you can't see him. Oh, he's about 100 yards that way. I mean, oh my God, so good.
There is that moment where she runs ahead and then she waits, and then there's so many things. She goes up to a door, and you're just like, okay, no, only try it for a second, for God's sakes, get out of here. Bubba?
Yeah.
Before we go to our funniest bits, we've got a couple other pieces of business to take care of. Our Island MVP of the week. There are a lot of fun freaks and weirdos on this show. Episode 6 and 7, we had a pitch for the Island MVP of the week, but from Zephyr Cat.
Oh.
Zephyr Cat said it was Richard Warren, who is fascinating in both episodes. Biggest laugh, the back and forth FU with Tom and Richard.
Oh, heck yeah. Good work, Zephyr Cat. We love your feedback. We always say, what's your best scare? Who's your Island MVP? Who's your Island freak? Your biggest laugh? You tell us. We're going to include it in the show. And those are obviously great choices, right? I mean, perfect choices.
Absolutely. Bubba, who is your Island MVP of the week?
Okay, so Catfish, I'm going to see if you can figure it out, because I do go kind of a circular way there. So number one, which character do I love the most?
Patricia.
Okay, fair enough. When Wick went up to the boogeyman's house and he saw that the door was busted open at the boogeyman's house, where did Wick go next?
And he went to Patricia's.
That's right. So he was protecting Patricia. So that means Wick isn't my MVP. He didn't do anything to protect Patricia. He went there, but he didn't do it. So when the ultimate showdown happens, who protected Patricia the most?
Patricia.
That's right. But because I've given it to her too many times, I'm giving it to the gas station clerk.
Oh, no.
Who distracted my boy, the boogeyman, enough for Patricia to take care of business. So for protecting Patricia by getting your ass thrown off the show, gas station clerk, you're my island MVP.
Wow. Well, I am stuck. I'm going to have to break one of my rules.
What?
My rule is not to do the same as you and not to have a repeat MVP.
Okay.
But I am stuck because I was going to give it to the gas station guy who said, "You're not supposed to do that."
Oh.
When she's pouring the gas
Had a
on.
fire extinguisher ready for when a disaster happened.
But since you took it, I'm going to keep that rule and not pick yours.
Oh.
I'm going to do a repeat winner. It's for Rosemary for being able to identify skin cancer.
Oh my goodness. This is ski summer, everybody. Lather up. You know that Dale should not lift his shirt any higher or his pants any lower. He showed the right amount of, cancerous cells. Oh my goodness.
No,
Yeah.
Dale should wear turtlenecks and gloves.
Listeners,
And what about a luchador mask?
just for safety. Protect yourself from the sun, Dale. Hey, listeners, we just found out Zephyr Cat's Island MVP for episode 6 and 7. We want to know yours. Please go down in those comments and let us know. Catfish, let's talk about Evan. You and I have had problems with this character throughout the show. In this particular episode, I thought he was fine and he did his story well. But you were sending me text messages that he was driving you crazy. But let's ignore Evan for a bit and let's talk about his
Gladly.
Let's talk about his dad. If Tom had told Evan, your mom loved you very much, but when you were 2 years old, she had a brain aneurysm and she passed away. That seems as clean, as simple as can be. Why in the world? And it seemed like Tom was saying he was doing it for himself. Why would you tell your son that she died in childbirth? Childbirth is tied to him, and he's always going to feel a bit guilty. Did Mayor Tom do it, Catfish? Crazy.
That is really crazy. And you know what? There's something I didn't share last week is that my father's mother died giving birth to my father.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that is something. It's definitely less traumatic to think she died afterwards rather than you are the reason why she died. We know the reason why she died. She went on a 3-hour tour that was a half hour too long.
Brain aneurysms don't have a root cause other than genetics, right? Other than
right.
And so it feels like the answer the show is telling us is those 2 years were so painful for Mayor Tom that he couldn't even think about them again, and so he moved her death back 2 years. I mean,
I think there might just be a story reason to have it come up to this point. In other words, the writers thought it would be more interesting. I wonder if there is another reason. But you know what, Bubba? So I don't know, and if the listeners can tell us. But this brings up another question to me, Bubba.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Having rewatched some of it, especially the first episode when a lot of the lore is set, Tom's wife dies when she hits that 3-mile mark or whatever mile mark it is.
Yeah, that causes the trouble most likely with the
A lot of people, Wick says I can't go past this point because when you go past this point, this is where people have trouble. So presumably a lot of people have passed away on the sea, but we've heard about a lot of people who made it all the way to the mainland and lived a day, a month, whatever. So my question is, have they figured that out? Why some people go right away? And is it tied to how close you are related to Richard Warren?
Yes.
Or not? So that's another question I have after sitting and thinking a little bit more about this show.
I think that is a great question. How about this?
Yeah.
You've heard that people can, be off the island a day, 2 days. Would you still try to make that Red Sox game? You're like, we're just going to go for the Red Sox game, head right back. Would you try it? Or you're like, I'm not pushing my son's luck.
Is my son Evan?
No. Okay, we know the tough one on Evan at first. Now somehow I'm defending him. What's going on with this podcast?
I don't know, Bubba. Does someone have to defend him?
Catfish, your wickedness that made me giggle so much about Evan leads us to the funniest bit in the episode. Episode 8's funniest moment, funniest scene, thing that got the biggest guffaw out of you. Catfish, you got options this week? Let's hear them.
My options, the one I already said, Dale has his shirt up. Do you think it's skin cancer, Rosemary? Oh, yes.
Ouch.
Patricia complaining about the food, but not wanting new food or anyone to get in trouble. Just want them to think about it for next time. And then she gets hung up on. Bubba, when she gets to the gas station and she pulls the gas thing out, and she's like, oh, I need gas. And she goes to the gas station and she says, I need 20 on 3.
Heck yeah.
Then the flashing of the scene, Patricia in the ambulance, shotgun to the head. In the hospital, shotgun to the head. Crematorium, shotgun to the head. Out of the crematorium, she finally puts a shotgun down.
She should have shot that dirt, those ashes, man. Hell yeah.
Also, I mean, come on. Chris getting tased was also very funny.
Catfish, you just said my pick. Chris says, go bye-bye. And Patricia, whose taser is at 2%, he doesn't hold back. Then tases her, and then immediately unapologetic. She was the worst. She was effing worst. Oh, then she suddenly becomes the Patricia we know. It is apologetic. Let me say, that scene was so funny. And you're right, the shotgun was brilliant. But that particular moment was like a clap moment, was like a celebrate moment, was like a brilliant moment. It made me want to go get a can of spinach, open the can, shoot the spinach out of the can, up into the air, fall into my mouth, then hang out with my dad, Poop Deck Pappy, and this animal maybe called Eugene the Jeep. That's how great it was.
Wow, you're doing research for this bit now. Oh, wow. Amazing. I appreciate it. Well,
thank you.
Bubba, for me, I'm sorry. It just killed me. The delivery of it, the circumstances. I need 20 on 3.
Oh, man.
Beautiful. Okay, so Bubba, we covered that, but now I have a question for you. And this is for, as the avowed Patricia stan on this show. And I love Patricia too, but you've been all in on her since the beginning. Okay. So I'm backing off. I'll just be the excellent wingman I always am to you. And I'll ask you this question.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother you at all that Patricia lied? Also, then she says, I lied, but he really was after me. I couldn't quite parse that. But does it bother you that Patricia lied?
Catfish, since the second podcast we've ever done, we have been doing this alliteration game where we say doubles, triples, quadruples.
Yeah.
Patricia has lied to her friends, which is about a event.
Well, friends.
Right. Well, she lied to these people about an event that led to classmates being murdered. That is unforgivable unless you drop a double D.
Double D?
Double down. She had to double down. So because of that, Patricia is suddenly, I'm going to retroactively make her my island MVP.
All right, Bubba. Well, listen, I want to note here that you noted... You know, people have been noting things in the background of the episode, and now you're just like, I need to bring that value too. You noted something in this episode that happened at the beginning, and then in the hospital in the episode. What was that, Bubba?
So in the opening of episode 8, where it's almost dreamlike, and it felt like this couldn't be real. Everybody was so happy. The tourists were out. Our 3 people who've been antagonistic towards each other, meaning Wick, Tom, and Patricia, are all sitting around a table happy. These tourists come in, this family of tourists come in, they sit down at the restaurant, and we spend an inordinate amount of time kind of focusing on them. And I think it's, number one, to set up the, hey, happy days are ahead. The sun is...
Right.
But what it really did is it made us notice them, so that then at the end of the episode, when we're suddenly in that hospital after everything's gone down, the poor sheriff's been slashed and he's in a bed, people in the waiting room were real messed up. And some of the people in the waiting room were, in fact, that family that we saw celebrating earlier. The mom of the family is in a neck brace, and she's got an arm in a sling. Holy smokes.
I guess she had too much fun. Maybe she went swimming.
Or, maybe she had some sundown cocktails. Who's to say? Or, we don't know exactly whose car hit the boogeyman right before the paramedic helped him, and then suddenly we're going to need one more paramedic. So perhaps...
Well, I assumed that it was I thought it was going to be Wick who was running to help her, but it must have been the paramedics because those were the only two additional people there.
True. There was, I believe, a truck there that... You're right. We don't know for sure. But if the paramedics are these paramedics out trying to get their own? They're like, it's a slow night. Hey, there's this guy standing in the middle of the road. Let's hit him, and we'll have some customers. Oh man.
Oh, poor guy. You had a hit and run.
Hit and slash. Oh my God. We're gonna need one more paramedic. Paramedic down. Holy smokes, Catfish. The boogeyman was a big freak. And every week here on the Patricia Perfection podcast, we like to talk about our freak of the week. The person who was the biggest freak on this island of annoying teenage sons like Evan and everything else. So, Catfish, who was your freak of the week?
Oh, man. My freak of the week? You know what? Sometimes, when I described... like Patricia, the one time I made her the freak of the week because she was trying to kill people. She was wearing dead animals on her head. She was dancing strangely. And I said she embodied all definitions of the word freak. But for the freak of the week, this is really, really only one definition. And that is someone who should be tased, Chris.
Catfish. Catfish. This is terrible that you're choosing Chris because this is called the freak of the week, for God's sake. You want to pick somebody who has haunted the island for decades.
All right. Sorry. I just didn't understand the question. All right. Well, go ahead. You answer it then because I'm just not getting
Chris.
it.
Mine was Chris, too. She's haunted the islands for decades. The hashtag Chris deserved it. Taser again, Patricia. Hell yeah. Oh, my goodness. We great minds think alike.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. All right, Bubba. Now we've got to go to our best ice cold put down of the week. And Bubba, we're all in the same space right now because I only found two, and they were, as they say on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, nuts to butts. It was Chris saying, "I'm sorry, but I'm not the reason you don't have any friends. It's because you're effing insane." Hurtful. And then the ice coldest put down was Patricia with the taser putting down Chris's.
Oh man, Catfish, how did you miss it? This is called the ice cold put down of the week.
Okay.
What did the sheriff say to the boogeyman when he was holding up the clerk? Put him down, and he did. So the boogeyman putting down the clerk is the best put down of the week. Come on, man.
Well, you know what? I think if you were to watch it again, I think this really stretches the definition of put down and more embodies the word hurls.
Okay, wait a minute. Do we want to give it to the boogeyman because he went up to the second floor of Chris's house and then he put himself down on the ground floor out the window? That was a great put down.
So many put downs. I've got to say, I'm going to go with the classic version, and that is when somebody just says something bitingly cold. So mine is Chris saying, "I'm not the reason you don't have any friends. It's because you're effing insane." To my poor girl Patricia, ice cold. All right, what about you, Bubba?
No. Listen, I'm giving it to the boogeyman just so I want him to stay away from me, Catfish. And that's going to get me to my next question, Catfish.
Yeah?
Richard Warren, the only way to kill him was to take him out past the buoy, right? Off the island. Is the boogeyman really gone? Yes, he is dust. But is he gone? That's question number one. Question number two.
Okay.
Why did the boogeyman only focus on Patricia? He didn't go after her friends. He didn't go after anybody. He only went after the paramedic when the paramedic was right next to him. He only went after the gas station clerk when the gas station clerk was right there? He really wanted Patricia. Did he do it because she escaped him last time, or because she is a descendant of Richard Warren and he wants to kill the descendants of Richard Warren? He wants to break the curse. Or is it because she's trying to break the curse?
Wait, are you trying to tell me, let me get this straight. Are you trying to tell me that you think the boogeyman is a good guy trying to break the curse? You think he's another person who's just been, like Richard Warren, somehow trapped for years and now he's back alive again? He wants to break the curse?
We're getting to a good point, Catfish, and we didn't talk about it enough. We talked about it some on our podcast on episode 6 and 7.
Okay.
Was what Richard Warren did terrible? Everybody on his island, no, hold on. Everybody on his island was dying and freezing in that coldest blizzard ever, right? They didn't have any food. He seemingly made a deal with the devil. And then in 1702, when his, next wife comes, the people are like, boy, we have calm, we don't have bad winter. Everything's thriving on the island. It was dirt and rocks. And now look, we've got farms, we got trees. So he did save them, but he did kind of doom and curse them. So could the boogeyman be a similar thing? Admittedly, we'll probably never know since he doesn't have a mouth, a tongue, or anything anymore. But the biggest question is, okay, so why after Patricia? Is it because of some ulterior motive, or is it something as simple as this victim escaped me last time by hiding in the one place I wouldn't look underneath her bed?
I'm more likely to believe that rather than the boogeyman, because if he is still been alive all this time, that means he did a deal with the island. So I'm not sure he'd want to break it unless if he thinks breaking it will allow him to finally die as well. But
I almost wonder if almost anybody who eats the mushrooms has the ability with their third eye open to see the evil entity, the evil force that controls the island. And if there aren't like 50 deals, like there's a deal here, deal there. I don't know. That's part of me is wondering that. So I don't know. Listen.
All right. Yeah, listeners, you got to tell us. You got to tell us what's going on here. Once again, Bubba and I are Bubba baffled and Catfish confused.
Heck yeah, Catfish. Before we get to some of our listeners' great double L crazy not crazy theories, let's talk about the end of the episode, which you kind of hinted at. Patricia was lived through it, right? This is the night of her life. She's talking to the sheriff about his wife. She's like, hey, I thought your wife was in her 40s. She's pregnant. We have had all those discussions about people and their biological age. Number one, is that just a quirk? Like they want to explain that this older woman is having a baby? And number two, how do we get her off the island when the storm of the century is coming? Holy smokes.
Okay, well, Bubba, I guess I'm going for a more prosaic answer. The sheriff and his wife haven't been on the island for a while, and I think she actually is in her 40s, and Bashir kind of confirms that by telling Patricia. I mean, I guess you would make that same joke if someone was not in their 40s. They were in their 40s. He's like, do you want to get hurt bad? Be quiet. Yeah.
Okay, so listeners, that obviously is setting up the end of the season 1. There are 2 more episodes left. We'll talk about it in a bit. But hey, enough of our thoughts, enough of our questions and theories. Listeners,
let's do it.
Double L's, loyal listeners, always come up with the best theories. And a great longtime loyal listener, CamShay23 on Threads, sent us this question. And it seems like there could be some truth to it. She sent us this before episode 8 airs.
Oh.
Camille wrote, did Tom's wife go crazy and then try to kill him and or their son, Evan? Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I think that's great. And also having it before episode 8, Cam Shay, that's why you are the diggity best. That's a great question. I'm not sure at this point, unless we're going to have yet another reveal, another floor drops out under us as far as like, okay, this is Tom's first explanation, what happened to his wife, this is his second, and if there's a third. Now, could it have happened before she got hospitalized? It certainly sounds like if those were the letters she's writing, it's not
Catfish,
good.
we've seen 3 people who, quote unquote, couldn't be killed. Is there any way Evan's mom is still alive? Whoa. There'd be no way, right? There's no way.
Yeah, I don't know. There is a way, Bubba.
Oh, man. Another great listener, Catfish. Read it.
Ella Field-the-Pops, who has been bringing it hard during the Patricia Perfection podcast, says, I think it's Warren's daughter depicted in the painting in the end, in the ocean reaching for the oar. I think she made it back to the island, went on to have lots of children, even more grandchildren, even more great-grandchildren. I think it's Warren's daughter as she was when grown up that is in the painting with the old balding guy with the right scraggly hair. Okay, that's what we had a question about last week. Yeah. I think his daughter fell from the boat when attempting to escape with her brothers and stepmother, but she was rescued and made it back to the island. Oh. So when Warren says he needs to die properly to end the curse, he is wrong because he doesn't know that almost everyone on the island is either direct descendant or related through marriage. That would be a wild twist.
Yes, and we had a user respond to that. Banana Hammock 2001 wrote, that would explain why they can't leave the island. And the kid in the painting does look to be missing a finger on their hand. Oh, we remember she was Four-Finger Francis, Catfish.
Four-Finger Francis. All right, Nathaniel Krill says, just rewatch the pilot. And when the fog rolls in when Tom is at the restaurant, there's a guy that says, is everything okay, Tom? The man that says this is sitting at the table directly behind Tom when he runs to the door. We never see his face. Lights come back on and there is no man at the table. Also, the voice sounds like Topher Grace. I think he's the big bad, LOL. Loved the video. Go take a look if you're bored. Bubba, I did go take a look, and I watched it very closely a couple times. And says someone does say, is everything okay, Tom? But if you look at that camera shot, it's over the guy who says it's shoulder, and that guy's way off to the left of Tom. So when the camera comes back, it's focused straight on Tom. So at this point, the person who said that would be off camera right. So if you watch it again, you can see the point of view there is not the point of view when they turn around. But I loved it, and I watched it a couple times just because I love this kind of craziness.
We love
Topher Grace, crazy.
I love it, Nathaniel, mainly because in real life, Topher Grace is a villain.
I thought he was one of the only people on that show who's not a villain.
Oh, edit. Hey, we got this great feedback from Christopher, who, after last week, the double episode, he said it was time for him to start a rewatch. After this week, I'm now wondering if the brooch has shown up earlier this season than when Sarah gave it to her new stepdaughter. Maybe one of the characters like Patricia was wearing it in an earlier episode. Important detail, no one would recognize it until this week's episode. People online are pointing out maybe Patricia has a very kind of interesting shaped ring, but I don't think that's it. But Christopher, thank you for doing a rewatch. And if you discover clues, we want to have them. Thank you. I think you're right, probably. Yeah.
But after rewatching the first episode again, my brother-in-law was in town, so we're like, you got to watch this show. So we rewatched the first episode. I texted you and I said, after the show is over, I want to rewatch the whole thing over again. Of course, it kind of has to nail the landing. If it misfires, I won't, but I'm very confident that it will.
Yeah, I am too. Another listener who gives us so much wonderful feedback across multiple shows and podcasts, Gayleen says, I do think we'll see that brooch again. But here's what's bothering me. Frances has a missing finger, which her father pointed out, the wagon wheel accident. He said, I'm positive we're meant to notice that. I checked the scene again, and according to Gayleen, it's the left hand, which is the one that's reaching up in the painting.
Okay.
In the painting where the kid is reaching up in the waves, that kid has all their fingers. So she is interested in that. And then she says, our boy Dale, part-time DJ Dale, she said, Dale has what the Cthulhu mythos fans call how do you say this, Catfish? The Innsmouth look? Yes. And if you look it up online, you can see it's what the look Dale has in episode 7. That is for sure. Oh, man. So, hey, did anybody watch on these rewatches confirm the Sea Hag has all of her digits, all of her fingers? We want to know. Wow. Okay, and Senator BFD says, we know that the evil power kept Richard alive in order to keep the compact alive. Yep.
The evil power might have kept Tom's wife consciousness on the island so that her body could remain alive for Evan.
Oh.
In other words, the reason she didn't die is that she wasn't there.
Whoa.
Evan could have been born off the island and still been bound to it, such that he would die if he left. After all, Richard wasn't born there. Well, but Richard is the one who made the compact that bound all his descendants.
Right. So just like Mayor Tom wasn't born on the island, but he took those mushrooms, seemingly when he is hugging that toilet at the end of that one episode, he's like,
well,
keep
we
my
still
son safe. Keep my son
we still don't know what happened in between those flashes. Tom claims that he did not make a deal. Did he?
Oh, I think the deal may be the season cliffhanger. We see that deal being made. The midnight. All right, boy, this user handle is a bit fun. It says the midnight hour picks and reviews. Wrote, I think Wick is the descendant of Richard Warren, but I'm still working out that theory. Catfish, Wick, who everybody loves, would Wick have to sacrifice himself for the island? He'd do it, but that would be brutal.
I mean, I'm going with what another listener just said. Was it Cam Shea that said practically everyone's related here? I don't know how you can get rid of the very last descendant.
No, man.
Bubba, we've got one last comment, and I'm going to spell their username, and you can maybe sound it out to yourself silently on the podcast. It's DHEYSKNUTS.
What could it be?
Yeah, I don't know. The chair room is the same room with the electric chair in present time. Perhaps it is the place where the entity resides. Now, that chair room, as we all know, and we saw at the end of episode 1, is directly below where the mayor lives.
Right. You go down in there. They're like caves down there.
Yeah.
If you're going to be an evil entity, where are you going to live? You're going to live in a cave so I can have some peace and quiet from all these dang tourists. Hey, keep sending us your theories. We're going to get to more great feedback in a bit. The Catfish, because we don't know exactly our release schedule for episode 9 and episode 10. I'm in Belgium and England. Let's go ahead and start thinking about, we've got 2 episodes left. Widow's Bed, Chef's Kiss on covering horror tropes. Next week, we're getting the Storm of the Century. I didn't read that Stephen King book, but hey, I think we can all imagine the horrific environment our heroes are going to be in. But you, Catfish, let me say, you really are a horror expert. Is there one trope that would make the best sense for a trope for the end of the season? How is season 1 going to end? Can you imagine it based on the story we've seen and some hard tropes that the show loves to cover?
Well, Bubba, I mean, I think we're in the area of like Marvel horrors here. We've gotten a little bit of everything. And so I imagine the last episode, either at the end or the beginning or whatever, we've only seen these things one at a time. And I think we're going to have a super horror team up in the last episode. Things are just going to start coming out of the fog.
Yes, and I think something's going to come out of the water. Whatever grabbed Wick on that infamous day when he kind of pushed his buddy off himself to survive. I think you're right. Now, Catfish, this series has not yet officially been announced as receiving a season 2. They have to do this, right? Apple TV knows this is a word-of-mouth hit, even if it's not always number 1 on the service. When are we going to get season 2 announcements? Got to be soon. Got to be maybe at the end of the season. They're going to say, hey, we've greenlit Widow's Bay for season 2. They have to.
I hope so, Bubba. Also, as we've known, and I don't know whether they changed this, but they usually have a very quiet 2-season pickup where they say we're going to have the show for 2 seasons. We're only going to announce the first, and the reason they do that is after the season's over, they're going to be like, wow, this season is so good, we're giving it a season 2, and then maybe get some more people to watch who haven't watched. But Bubba, I already myself have gotten 2 entire people to watch this show.
Heck,
so and you supposedly talked to some people, and maybe they're listening to you.
My family members, hey,
maybe they're listening to you, maybe they're not. Bubba, I am just very excited for this. I cannot wait. But until then, hit us up. Hit us up on the social media at double PHQ. That's the word double, and then the letters PHQ. HQ, and P stands for Patricia, obviously. So look, hit us up, hello at Double P Media. Let us know what you think about these shows so that we can give your what I like to call double F.
Double F?
Fresh feedback when we do episode 9. We can have all your feedback both for episode 8 and episode 9.
Fresh feedback on episode 8 from
what
a Double L loyal listener, Gen X Cat Mom, who's at All Mod Cons on Blue Sky. She gave it, you and I were both 10 out of 10. She had some sort of qualm because she only gave it 9.5 out of 10 double H's.
Double H's?
Holy Halloween movie. Gen X Cat Mom said this was wild and unexpected. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Double P persistent Patricia was amazing. I was genuinely scared. And the Evan and Tom scenes were fascinating. Ooh, thank you so much, Gen X Cat Mom.
You know what? I like Gen X Cat Mom because she also took one of my P words, even though I had 5 of them.
Yeah.
But Bubba, I will say this.
Yeah.
I've noticed a trend, and it's a disturbing trend. It's across the board 9.5s. What is it going to take?
Yes.
What is it going to take for all mod cons to boost it up there? Come on now.
We got general feedback. This is from, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Chef Philippe, who just said, hey, your video, I liked and hyped it on YouTube. Thank you so much. Hey, we got Sushi716 who said, I knew Widow's Bay was horror. I didn't expect to laugh so hard. James V said, the Tom's wife reveal is such a nice development. Happy Go Lucky said, Widow's Bay was number 1 on my Apple TV, and I've watched it 4 times through. Heck, yeah, happy-go-lucky. Finally,
that is awesome.
Finally, before we get to more feedback about episode 6 and 7, Brooklyn Days said, did anyone notice the spinster wife of the founder said she was 4 and 10? If that was true, and she was a 14-year-old girl, then the island is definitely doing weird things about people aging through time. Oh,
well, that is weird, but then she also said that she recognized that she was a spinster, and I don't think 14 is old enough, even at this time, for a spinster. So that was weird. When I first heard that, I thought, did she just say she was 50? And then I'm like, no, she said 4 and 10.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. She just got to the island. So, again, I don't think the island affects your time right away.
Hey, Cam Shea, we've already heard from her. She said Widow's Bay after 6 and 7. So this is all 6 and 7 feedback. She said, Widow's Bay, the show is getting so good and nuts. It has all the ghosts, devils, zombies, and more. Sean D. Sarcasm, what a great handle there, said, the glaring mistake. Ooh, here we go. Some negative thoughts. We had a couple on episode 7. But Sean D. Sarcasm wrote, the biggest glaring mistake of episode 7 was them putting Richard back in the casket after he regained his strength. And he was stuck in there despite them never securing the lid. Ooh, I didn't notice that.
I had Breezy K said, I didn't like episode 7.
Oh, no.
The whole Richard Warren surviving the 1700s was so cheesy, it took down the show's caliber a lot. Force of the show is Patricia, not Tom or Wick.
Whoa.
It's made patently clear as we have more and more Tom-focused episodes that she is the star.
Ouch.
And now we got a reply to Breezy K from Samurai Ad saying, I think it fits the tone of the show to absolute perfection, LOL. Look, we thought that 6 and 7, especially 7, leaned a little bit more towards the comedy. We're back on the train with this episode, but we honor your feelings.
Paul, so many people. Breezy K has given us great feedback. Paul has given us a bunch of great feedback, but he also had some issues with last week's episode. He said, after loving the first 5 episodes, I really disliked episode 6. The next episode on the boat, the 7th episode on the boat was a good and enjoyable episode, but not quite as good as the previous 5 were. Yes, the real surprise was the quiet, shy girlfriend of Evan suddenly became even worse than Evan. And then you and I have mentioned on a couple of podcasts the comparisons to the TV show Lost. Paul wrote, I loved Lost, and I think it answered the major plot questions, but a major similarity between Lost and Widow's Bay is not just a mysterious magical island,
right?
But also finding ancient things with no explanation of how they got there. Lost showed that different civilizations had been on the island throughout prehistory. With the flashback episode, Widow's Bay showed us that even under the original founder's house is a subterranean construction with heavy stone blocks and doors and chairs. clearly the Richard Warren didn't build that all by himself. It implies a society or civilization was there before the founders were there.
Ooh, that is fascinating. I can't believe I didn't think of that, and that is why we are lucky to have the listeners we do. That is fascinating. Who was there? Who built all that? As I said, it added a lot of square footage to the place.
Right.
Put it up on Zillow.
Let's do it.
Unfinished basement.
Hey, for everybody here at the Patricia Perfection podcast, my name's Bubba. You can find me on social media at the handle at Fit and Trim, FITTENTRIM, at Fit and Trim on social media.
And I'm Catfish. You can hit me up at G to the Man. That's GEETOTHEMAN on Blue Sky and Instagram. And we'll talk to you for next episode, episode 9, Emergency Shelter on the Patricia Perfection podcast.
Heck yeah. See, that's why I named it Patricia Perfection before we even started.
Because of our perfection and saying it at the same time.
Heck yeah, we've gotten better at that.